Hello there. Welcome to Fate Mag Radio, the online. That is so not where we are. Gosh, this has been a long day. I've been moving so much stuff and I've lost my mind. My bad. Let's do a do-over, why don't we? Welcome to Paranormal Experience with Kat Hobson. I am Kat Hobson, and I'm so glad that you're here tonight because, every so often you get to have people over that you think are really cool. And this is somebody that I met when I was on another show with Jeremy York. I just think that this was someone we had so much in common. It's kind of interesting. His name is Philip Gibson. He is the owner and creator of Hart City Paranormal and creator at their apparel shop. He is also the founder and creator of Heart of the Universe and co-founder and paranormal conservationist, again, with Hart City Paranormal. He is also, something I did not know, a astrophotographer. And we were doing a UFO show with Jeremy York, like I said, and it was so fun because he just pops out with, oh, by the way, I do astrophotography. I'm a photographer, and I shoot an icon with pretty good lenses, and I don't get the shots that he gets. So we're going to let him talk about that too. We're not just doing paranormal. So anyway, let's welcome Philip. Hey.
Hello. Hey, Kat.
How
How's it
are
going?
you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you.
I am too, except for being a little tongue tied because you know what? It's just been one of those days. You're used to it. We're not. We're getting like, oh my God, cold weather
Yeah,
for
it's cold.
us. And so my dogs are all handled. They're indoor people, but my birds are not. And I had so many, I didn't know I had this many little wrens.
hmm
And these birds sit outside, and if I don't bring their food out, they start whistling for me. And there's one that'll get on the top of my chimney and do it. So I was just like, oh, don't freeze. Don't freeze.
Yeah.
And so Carl, who is always so reassuring, informed me that birds don't freeze, that they acclimate. But they've gone all the way through my feeder. And I was just throwing feed down because the only thing that's going to be out there are my dogs. So
Yeah.
they'll hear them coming.
Yeah, it
They are
seems
not
like
quiet.
seems like they're not flying us south as much either. So I know we have a lot of geese around the area, sort of
Really?
foul, but yeah, we have a lot of geese around the area, and yeah, there's like tons of them, like still that are still, in this area, and they're getting pretty close to mating season, so we should be seeing babies in the next few months.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, yeah, there's a
We have
lot of
some,
geese around.
we have, they always come to the same lake, right? When they
Uh,
migrate,
I yeah, I live right along a river, but I
right?
think they do come around the same bodies of water. Yeah, yeah.
Because we have geese that come here in my neighborhood, and they will walk down the busy highway and cross the busy highway. And people here just stop for them because,
Oh yeah,
we're
yeah.
just so glad they're here. We love geese. Don't piss them off though. But
No,
it's so, no,
they
I
chased my
thought
they've chased
chickens
my
were bad.
they've chased my dogs a few times. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'd walk them down the river walk, and they had babies. Obviously, it was during the their mating season. Then when they had their babies, so they're really ultra protective. Usually, they
Yeah.
don't really pay much attention to them when they're you know otherwise, but if the baby's around, yeah, you got to like go navigate way around them so they don't get crazy. Which I understand. It's their babies. They're trying to protect them.
I'm
Yeah, they
kind of
came
like that
after.
with babies. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they came after him one time, and yeah, it was they didn't actually get to him, but they definitely came at him. They're like, hey, don't you think about getting around my babies?
Well, I have a daughter that reached into a brood hen's nest one day.
Mm.
So she learned that lesson very quickly. She was 2. And I also learned how fast and mean I can be. So it was, yeah. You just don't
It'll
mess with mamas and babies.
it'll show you a speed that you never knew you had.
I didn't know. I mean, I knew, but I had never been put to the test,
Yeah, yeah,
and that was it. That
yeah.
was done. So, you know, we had so much fun getting to know each other when we were
Mhm.
on before. And I just thought I'd like to talk to him some more because you do all the things that I do and
Mhm.
love. And, you know, it was fun to meet you.
Yeah, and it was great to sit down and talk with the three of you as well. Like I said, I've known Jeremy for quite a while,
Yeah.
maybe pushing 4 or 5 years now, maybe even 6 years. It's been a few years,
Yeah.
um, but it's great. I love meeting people and meeting people with similar interests and hobbies
Yeah.
and stuff. And so I love. I'm more of a novice at UFOs than you and Marianne was.
Mary Ann was trippy. I liked
Yeah,
her too.
yeah, she was great.
She was
Uh,
trippy dippy though. That was so fun because
it
she
was it
is
was
so
fun.
connected with them.
So it was nice to sit down, and I was more in listener mode when it comes to
Well,
the
to an
whole UFO
extent,
to an
but
extent until I brought the astrophotography and paranormal thing up, and I kind of opened up a little bit. But it was great.
well,
It was an honor to sit down and listen to the both of you, and it was
well,
yeah, it
we
was
made a
great. I
good
had a
group.
blast.
You were great too. Don't
Oh,
don't sell
thank you.
yourself short. It was a lot of fun to get to meet and chat. But that was an unusual show because we did cover so many topics.
Yeah, we did.
We had she communicates with them,
Mm,
and
yeah.
I do not, to my knowledge. But my husband would probably argue with that. But it was just fun. And then, when I started, when I was researching you, and I'm like, oh, this dude's paranormal. This is,
Yeah.
and you're very paranormal.
Ye-
So
Yeah.
that's to me a good time,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So how did you get into that?
The paranormal.
The paranormal.
Well, actually, it started my interest in the paranormal. Started back when I was younger, mid '80s maybe, when the movie, the original Poltergeist movie came out.
Right.
To this day, it's still one of my favorite movies, and it's probably what it's probably what introduced me to the paranormal. Um, I didn't get I didn't really get the urge to investigate the paranormal until probably 2006, 2007, watching, sitting down and watching, the classic Ghost Hunters on TV, with Jason
Yeah.
and Grant and those guys. Um, when I saw that episode, I think it was season 2 or 3, when they went to the St. Augustine Lighthouse in St. Augustine, Florida. That episode right there is what like got me the motivation, like the excitement to actually want to put my boots on and get out and actually investigate the paranormal myself.
Okay, I
Um,
have to stop you there.
okay.
Why St. Augustine?
Um, I think it was the episode itself. It I think when they flashed that camera, when they put a camera facing straight up the lighthouse,
Hmm.
and just to see that apparition lean over um, the railing and then go up
Yes.
3 flights of stairs in a matter of seconds and lean over and look again. I was just completely blown. And then hearing the conversations of the man and the woman, way at the top of the light tower, the
Mhm.
lighthouse, I was just completely fascinated by. It. I'm like, wow, and back then I didn't really know that a lot of that, a lot of the paranormal stuff on TV is, a lot of it's doctored to be, um, they do a lot of doctoring to make it more interesting for TV. But
Well,
that
they also have
episode,
hundreds of hours of evidence that they can call from too. I mean,
yeah, exactly. And I was that just blew me away. And actually around that same time that I was getting, pushed by, urged to investigate by watching Ghost Hunters, I actually had my first, what I believe is my first paranormal experience. Because I was kind of a late bloomer, mid to, 2006 and 2007. I actually had my first, what I believe was a paranormal experience. So, so I think, a little mix of, Ghost Hunters and um, my experiences at my house, um, is what encouraged me to want to investigate the paranormal, but I didn't actually put, I didn't actually put the actual, or actually put the boots on and get out and do it until probably about 10 years later. And that's when my friend, Shawn, and myself and his wife, Samantha, sat down and created Hart City Paranormal out of Elkhart, Indiana, and we started a team up,
Mhm.
and That's when we began investigating the paranormals. July, August of 2017. So I really haven't been at it too long. Maybe 7.5 years, pushing 8 years. Um, so, but I've experienced a lot over these years, um, and it's really it's exciting. I'm a very passionate EVP guy. I love
Yeah.
EVP audio. Um,
Do
I
you?
haven't seen too much as far as like visuals. The visuals in the paranormal. Apparitions and shadow figures.
Yeah.
I've never seen
Well,
an
they're
apparition.
they're
I've
like the
never seen a
holy
shadow.
grail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that. Most of mine has been, you know, stuff moving on its own, and you know, disembodied voices and EVPs and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been investigating about 7.5 years. I took a break. I took a couple breaks in between. I had a little burnout in the whole thing, and just things that were I was letting things get to me that shouldn't things that I couldn't control, and it was frustrating me, and so it kind of burnt me out a little bit, zapped my enthusiasm, and I finally just you know told myself I'm not letting something that I can't control. It's just the state of the paranormal. A lot of the stuff that's going on in the field that's not the most pleasant things. I don't want to make that tonight's show or anything. It's just I just
Aerodrama.
yeah. Oh, here they come.
She's
Um,
home.
yeah, and so I didn't. I pretty much put my foot down. So I'm not letting that zap my energy and my enthusiasm again. And I got the fire again and got back at it, and I'm going strong now. So.
The thing that I have learned about dramatic people in the paranormal is that they're like that in other aspects of life also.
Hmm.
So you can't, and I did because I'm pretty much a flash reactor.
Hmm.
Okay. So because I'm old, so I learned how to temper that a little bit, right? I've got maybe a few decades on you, but it's so funny because I just learned that if somebody presents that to me,
Hmm.
I don't work with them anymore.
Yeah.
And if I can leave when that's happening, I will walk away while it's happening
Yeah.
because I don't want to get to the point that I'm going to sully my reputation or
Yeah.
something.
Hmm.
I'm just not. But there is a lot of that in this field, and I'm not really sure exactly why that is. I think it's because people who do this, and correct me if you don't think this too, but I bet you do because I grew up, I was already old, but watching Ghost Hunters from the
Hmm.
beginning. A friend of mine is who actually created that series.
Oh wow,
And I
awesome.
didn't know that at that time. But when I was watching that, I was like, oh, well, I've had these experiences all my life, but I never thought about documenting anything.
Hmm.
How are they using that to do this? What is this that so I started seeing tools to get the experiences that I was already having, but to show people that I was having them. And I think that they brought more people into this field than Carter has little pills. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
And I've had the opportunity to investigate with some of them.
Hmm.
And it's so fun to watch or to get feedback on something that you've brought to play with, you know,
Hmm.
and have you tried this? What did you do with this? And that's why I like investigating with other people as opposed to just being locked in and going and doing a home investigation for somebody,
Mhm.
or I don't do residential right now, but
Yeah.
you know, people have gotten really weird and crazy. And
Yeah.
until all of the stuff settles down, I would never go in somebody's home right now.
Hmm.
But with your EVP work, do you use tools for that other than a recorder?
Um, well, I use recorders. I also use I use body cameras. Um, now when you say tools, you mean like do I use like other devices during my
Mhm.
investigation? Yeah, I use
Other devices, or I mean, are you getting just pure recordings, or are you getting it through a device or an app, or what are
oh,
you using?
I just use I when I do my audio recordings, I use a Zoom H4n
Hmm.
uh, multi-directional
I
recorder. I
have
also
that. Isn't that awesome?
yeah I have
That
a
is a
couple
good
of them. I
recorder.
love them, and I also use an H3 VR recorder as well. So it's a device that's used to record audio for VR
Hmm.
virtual reality applications. Um, I also I yeah those are my main audio devices. I'll occasionally break out my and use the recorder on my phone because I used to use my back when I
I've
first
done
started.
that.
I used
It
recorders on
works.
my phone and stuff.
And
Yeah,
I was going to say, because you have shadow figures behind you.
yeah, that's her. Yeah, that's her walking back and forth. Yeah,
But the beauty, I think, I love using just recorders, because if I'm using an app, or if I'm using something, or broken radios, whatever, you
mhm,
know, I think that the purity with an actual recording, when there's not anything that they're having to come through,
yeah,
because they will give you their voice, right?
yes, yes, yeah.
And I I a lot of my all of my friends use Echovox. They use SB7s, but
I use SP11 occasionally. I
yeah,
don't use it as much as I used to, um, but I do use it on occasion. Maybe I might take it out once a night, maybe just to see, if I can get
yeah,
anything. But most of the time, I record a lot of audio, so my recorders are like rolling a lot. So, and
yeah,
I try to do what I can to eliminate the noise pollution. If there's I will freeze to death before I ruin my audio. So I will turn off all heat, all the heating systems, and it's got to be
yeah.
silent. Very picky about that. Um,
That's where the heated jackets and vests come in handy.
yeah,
So I'm so glad I bought one, because I have
yeah,
it for tomorrow. But because I will be taking the dogs out when we get off of here. So
yeah.
it's like,
Me
oh my
too.
God. So, but yeah, I think that's so good. Where is Hart City?
We're actually out of. I'm actually. Well, I live in Elkhart, Indiana. So
Elkhart, yeah.
with the heart, it's in northern Indiana, near
Okay.
South End. And so the whole Hart City Paranormal was made because of Elkhart, the
With the
heart.
Elkhart, yeah.
Yeah, and so we kind of picked that apart and used it to create our name. So yeah, we're up in northern Indiana. Yeah.
Okay. Because I have friends that own locations and stuff. And one of them is, my friend lives in Indianapolis. Her jail is
Hmm.
in Paulding, Ohio.
Hmm.
And have you ever been there?
No, but I've been invited to go to. I've been invited to go there once, twice with some friends for a public investigation, and
If you
not
get a
too. I'm not
chance, even the publics are good, though.
okay. Yeah, and I never went though, but I've heard a lot about it though. I'd love to check it out sometime.
Well, make sure you have your recorders,
Yeah. Oh, you know
because
me.
it's really amazing how much those spirits work to communicate.
Yeah.
They're really cool. And, I appreciate that, because I don't get to go there very much.
Yeah.
And she has a portal,
Hmm.
the original portal that Steve
Hmm.
Huff created, and she bought the specs and built it. So she knows what's in it.
Hmm.
And that sucker will sit there. Like, I was slicing and dicing for a cookout she was having one afternoon, and her husband was in the room with me, and he does not like when the spirits talk to him, but the portal was on. And so while I'm talking to Vincent and chopping vegetables and whatever, you know, we're getting responses to our conversation through the portal. And I'm not thinking about it. I'm just responding to them, right? As well as him. And he's looking at me like, I got to go.
Yeah.
But you will love that. You'll love that for EVP work. That place is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I, like I said, I started off using my phone as my recorder when I first got started doing paranormal investigating. And then, I kind of progressed into more better quality recorders, but
yeah.
I've learned sometimes, and I know audio is kind of weird. Just recently, actually one of the audio clips that I sent you, just recently, the updated one, um, that was actually captured on uh, the audio of my body camera, which and I also had the Zoom H3 VR on my left hand, the body camera planted on my chest, and the uh, the body camera audio actually picked the EVP up far louder than that multi-directional H3 VR did. So
Oh my gosh.
I think all recorders have a great place, in investigating,
Mhm.
and collecting audio. I mean, there's with the more pristine audio, you get less less white noise and less background noise. It's more crisp and cleaner, and you don't get you don't fidget. It doesn't have that fidgeting sound to open your unless you're following handling the actual recorder itself. But when it comes to those old phones, the little or the Olympus recorders and stuff, you got to
Mhm.
really be careful because just little subtle movements can make it pop and crack and make it sound like where you can mistake it for an EVP. So you got to be kind of really careful with those old recorders. But I think they definitely have their place when it comes to when it comes to collecting EVP audio. I think they work great. I mean, it's just weird how audio works. You can you would think that these pristine pieces of audio would capture more, but not
No.
necessarily the case. It's kind of interesting though.
Well, my very first EVP that I ever caught was and I had just bought it, right? And
Hmm.
I did not think about the fact that there wasn't a way to download from it because I wasn't, it was my first time to be lead on a location and other stuff. I had other equipment that I was worried about, and I just grabbed this little recorder.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was only women. It was so cool. But I had been, because I always, just had my camera in this hand, had a recorder in this hand, and was just walking around, just, focused on the camera. And when I stopped, I don't smoke, and everybody else did. So they were all, under the carport smoking. And
Hmm.
I was over in the corner with my recorder trying to get, you know, I, I'd not used that recorder before. So I'm sitting there and I'm going to do a replay, and I was just going to, see if I was actually working.
Hmm.
And yeah, apparently when I was having a problem with my camera, I got this EVP that I never even knew I had. And so it was a man's voice that said, "Are we filming yet?"
Oh wow.
And so all of the other three women looked up and looked over at me and were looking around. They were looking for the man. And I'm like, that that was on my recorder. Let me
Wow.
see, I have that recorder still sitting in my desk because I will never erase that EVP. And I don't see it. It's in here, but my desk drawer is chock full of stuff. But I'll find it and show you later. Because it's the best EVP I ever caught, and it was my very first one ever.
Dude,
And it was so
that's
loud and
wow.
clear that people a yard away from me heard it. Like half that I was in the front yard, they were in the carport, and they started looking. I was like, "Holy
Wow.
crap!
And
I'm
it
never
wasn't,
stopping this." Yeah,
especially when there was no men present, and
yeah,
so it's
yeah.
like, yeah, where's the guy at? I just heard him. Where's he at?
Well, and only I knew that I was doing the, you know, doing the review.
Mhm.
And I was just really trying to make sure it was actually functioning. And right
Wow.
out of the box, that was there. And I had taken that out of the box. When I took it, I had just gotten it. So it wasn't something left over either. It was just a cool way to get started with EVP.
Yeah, that would definitely encourage you to like do it again and again, you
And again,
know,
and if I
and
don't
again.
get it, I do it more because I know I can. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It does bite you, doesn't it?
Yeah. It really
Yeah.
does. Like I still get like I still like listen not only listen to new EVPs and go, man, it kind of just gets me excited, but just
Yeah.
listening to the ones, that I've heard, 30, 40, 50 times, I still get like wild time.
Yeah. Because it's
So,
trippy. I
yeah.
mean, you got
It,
dead guys talking to you,
yeah.
or
And
some
knowing
kind of
that,
guys that aren't
or some,
sitting there with you.
yeah. And you're two people in a building and that person hasn't said a word and there's a clear man's voice
Yeah.
uh, saying something, and you're like, well, I know that wasn't me, and I know that wasn't him because his recorder doesn't have anything on it in that very same area,
Hmm.
and it's just like that's what's really trippy is how they can manipulate one device but not the other, or how it
Yes.
picks up on how it's
Do you
just
have
it's
a theory about that? I mean, have you put serious thought into that? Because I have put serious thought into that. I got nothing.
I
There's
don't I mean,
no way logically that should happen.
no, you would think that if it's I don't, unless they're like actually going into the recorder and putting an imprint onto that specific recorder, I don't know how it's done. I
Well, I mean,
mean,
they don't have vocal cords. I mean,
yeah,
they're
yeah,
not physical beings.
yeah,
So how are they getting the vibration to make the voice? And how is this device picking up something that can't exist?
yeah,
It gives a whole different thought to what really are we after? Do we have some type of corporal being that maybe we just can't see, like an alien? Because aliens can fade in and out.
hmm,
They do. And so, based on hundreds of people that have seen them do that, right? Mine does not.
yeah,
This is Al, by the way. You met him the
yeah,
other night.
hmm,
But it's just if another life form can do that, then maybe we still have some sort of corporal structure that can create these recordings.
yeah. And you think
Something
about it, I
has to be
mean,
happening.
and like you just mentioned, we may not even be communicating only, not only with the dead, we could be communicating with, somebody from a parallel universe or
Yeah.
aliens or another dimension and we could be creating these ourselves with just I mean I think it's a smorgasbord of like a bunch of different theories of what's
Or maybe
going on.
a bunch of different experiences that are being caught that we don't understand. You know,
Yeah.
because and I have to say hi to Irene because she is from Tokyo, Japan. She is Tokyo Spooky Japan podcast. And I got my very first Christmas card from Japan from Irene. And it was
Okay.
the most beautiful card and the most beautiful stamp. And thank you very much for that, Irene. But I think that I do think sometimes that we may be crossing dimensions to get that. I've been places that there couldn't have been anyone else there,
Yeah.
like that man, and I was leaving a closed hospital where we'd done an investigation. And it was funny because I just happened to stop in the old emergency room on the way out the door. And I just said, did everyone here die of a heart attack? And I didn't listen back while I was there. And the place is being
Mm,
torn down. I can't get back in. But a man said, no, they shot me. And I didn't
wow.
know it. So, that's just astounding. And and I'm still upset about that because I feel like if it's not in an area that my husband would ever let me go by myself, that's one of the reasons they're tearing it down.
Mm.
But it's just like, I need to go back. I need to go back and tell him, I
Got you.
heard you. I'm so sorry. And I
Yeah.
may just do a drive by, hop out, run up to the door and say, I'm so sorry I heard you, and hop back in the car and drive away. But, you know, I think they would
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
mean, he knows who was there. But
And I think it's great when you get that disembodied voice because because I don't I sometimes I will review audio on site.
I
Um,
very rarely, I do more now.
very rarely because I like to keep because I think it breaks up the flow. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm
Rhythm.
saying?
I
Yeah, the
totally
flow
get
of
that.
the conversation, and because you never know, you don't know how they're how they come and go because you could be in they could be sitting there talking to you and you stop and you go, okay, I want to review this real quick, and they zap out, and you never know
Well,
because we have no idea what they how they do things and how they function. So I try to keep it going, and it's just unfortunate that they're sitting there talking to you, but you won't hear it until you get home and review that evidence, unless
I've started
unless
telling them that though.
yeah, me too,
I've started telling them, and
me too,
if you're
all the
talking to
time.
me, I will know it later. I just don't know it now.
Hmm.
And if I can, I'll come back and we can finish the conversation if you had something to say.
Exactly. And that's one of
So,
the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I do take. I don't. I guess when I was younger, well younger, as I meant, like when I first got into the field, I was really like gung ho about trying to check off locations, check off this location just to say I went. Now I'm more into taking, three, four, five different locations and constantly visiting those
oh,
locations to develop a rapport with the spirits, and it is pretty useful, and it's been pretty efficient and successful. Um, at least visit them twice a year possibly because I think it's just like a friendship. You
it
know,
is. Yes.
you go once and you don't go back for 5 or 6 years. They might not remember you, but if you continuously visit, and then visit these locations and communicate with these spirits, it's like a friendship. It just continues to build and build and build, and they won't forget you. And they want
That's a great point.
and they long to talk to you again. They're like, hey, I'm back, and they're like, oh, great. For instance, um, my ex teammate Shawn, who was in Hart City Paranormal with me, um, you know, we were in constant communication with this child at a place called Grace Cemetery, which is here in Elkhart. Very active cemetery, very active. But we also believe that we're in contact with him at the sheriff's residence at Old Kosciuszko, and possibly even at a place called Eden Springs Park up in Benton Harbor. Um, I think he may be following us around. I can't prove that by any means, but he has responded once. I asked him, "Are you following me? Have you followed us in different locations?" He said yes. Um, one
That's
response,
different.
yeah. So I'm like, I want to believe it, but I can't say it's definitive. But what I was
He
getting
told
at,
you.
yeah, he did tell me. He did tell me. Um, so we kind of play off as in we kind of play it as he does follow us around, and we accepted that. And but what I was getting at, about the whole, continuously visiting these spirits and developing a relationship or rapport with these entities. Sean goes, we would occasionally take gifts over to Graceland Cemetery. There's this tree stump. It's a hollowed out tree stump, and that's where he always comes through at every single time. And so we'd always like ask him what he wanted for, you want us to bring you a toy, blah blah. And he's responded, a few times, train. I want a blue train. So Sean would sit
Oh,
right down on the tree stump, get on Amazon and order a train and bring it over to him 2 days
by
later.
Jingo. Yes.
So he comes over one day, after work, he says, all right, I'm gonna bring it over to you as soon as I get it. So him and Sam, his wife, went to work one day. They took the train to work with him, left it in the car, and they went straight from work to the graveyard, to the cemetery. And Shawn being the investigator he is, had that recorder on record, ready to go before he even got out of the car. As soon as he opened that car door and the door slammed, you heard that little kid say, "Thank you." I mean,
Oh
clear,
my gosh.
it was. I wish I would have had the EVP like share with you, but it was. He sent it to me. He said, "Look, bro, man, you gotta listen to this." It was crystal clear, like the kid was standing there right beside of him. So
How
he was
smart to
ready.
have that recorder going.
Yeah, he was like it's like the kid was like the kid was standing there going, "Oh, hey, there's his car.
Yeah.
Let's wait here for him." And as soon as he opened shut that
Maybe he's
door,
got it.
yeah, and he said,
Yes,
"Thank you."
that's
And
so awesome.
he probably saw the train or whatever toy he had at the time in his hand. He ran up to him and said, "Thank you." Dude, he sent me that clip, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And it sounded like the same kid that we're picking up at Graceland, and we're picking up at the sheriff's residence at the old jail. And I guess sometimes audio, it's kind of finicky. It might sound the same, but maybe it's not. I can't prove without a shadow of a doubt that that kid is the same kid, but I think deep in my heart I do believe it is, and so I think I need to accept that. And
Well, I mean, you might as well. You've been doing this for some time now, but I do want to
yeah.
tell you, um, Jeremy's here, that Irene says that in Japan, spirits don't like equipment. So she has to use her ears to hear them or she won't.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
she also said that she would love for you to come and see how samurai warriors interact with you because it's a different game and an overwhelming experience, but not scary, but bombarded with them. Could you imagine a slew of samurai warriors there to talk to you?
Mm, yeah, yeah. That'd be
That,
a lot of energy.
that would be a lot of very disciplined, very strong personalities.
Yeah,
That would be cool. So,
yeah. So yeah, that's
well,
what I do. I think I pick like 4 or 5 different locations, and I continuously visit these locations and develop a good rapport with these spirits, and it seems like it's paid off.
have
And
you had have you had that child interact with you since then?
oh yeah, I yeah, just I went and did a solo investigation at the jail, the sheriff's residence at Old Kosciuszko, the one I was mentioning earlier. I did a solo out there back in it was January 18th, I think it was, and he came through. He came through for me. Um,
That's so cool.
yeah, he like I wouldn't say it's like clockwork all. I wouldn't say it's like clockwork all the time, but he about 9 times out of 10 up in that area, the second floor of the sheriff's residence, he always comes through. And I haven't been over at the cemetery lately 'cause it's been really super cold. And um, so yeah, yeah, he's come through for me recently. So
Do
it's
you know
kind of
his
cool.
name?
I think his
Is
name is
he
Eddie.
Eddie?
Eddie, because I've got that name a few times when I've
Yeah.
asked. So yeah, I think his name is Eddie, and he just told me this like the last. I heard it before. I think it was one of those EVPs where you're like, okay, I think it says what I think it's saying, but I can't say for sure. This one was clear cut Eddie, and I'm like, okay, I think that's what the other one said too.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Eddie, that I think his name is. Um, through the records of through the records of the old jail, I haven't seen an Eddie, in the sheriff's residence, whether it's a kid, that belonged to the sheriff or not. Doesn't, which doesn't matter. He could have came wandered in there and
Well, he
just
could have been there
had a place.
prior to the jail being there.
Yeah. He could have been there. And he's always just so like excited to see us. Um, like one time, and I think, yeah, one of the EVPs that I sent you that we'll be listening to later on, is actually there's probably one, two, three, four of those EVPs that are of that kid. So that we believe is the same kid. Um,
Cool.
well, actually, I should say two or three EVPs and one disembodied voice, I should say. Yeah.
Disembodied
So
voices are a whole different thing.
yeah.
Do you always hear them or do you catch them on your recorders?
Um, it's usually it's usually when I'm recording EVP audio. I don't think unless I'm. I think it's because if I'm not on an investigation or without my recorder, I kind of just don't think about communication with them. I think it's only when I grab my recorder is this I'm focused on the communication. I think that's why I hear him more. Now, if I just talk to him without the recorders, I think I would hear him as well, possibly. But it's usually only when I have my recorder running because I'm in that zone of communication because I'm recording. So yeah, I don't hear him much unless I'm recording the
Yeah.
audio itself when I'm actually in the zone of communication.
Isn't that funny how we can get there? We can enjoy everything else too,
Hmm.
but that's what we are fired up to get.
That's my passion
Yeah.
as EVP is communication. Um,
You know, I used to think that it was activity like REM pods or you know, but it is the words. I love the voice. I love when if you're using a device, you can't always tell
yeah,
the voice. But like you were talking about, if you're using straight recording, then you recognize them. It's almost like they become they're easy for you to catch because you know that voice.
yeah.
You're going to catch that tone or whatever, and it's there. And when Irene was talking about using her ears, I have a hard time with that.
Hmm.
And especially now because I'm getting older and I have a little bit harder time hearing too many rock concerts in the good seats. But,
I've been a lot of concerts. Yeah.
it's just, yes. I went to high school with the promoters' kids, so that always helped
Oh
until
yeah.
now. It's not such a help now, but
You're in it.
it's so much fun because I get excited. I feel like it's a like you with that child. It's a friend. It's somebody that recognizes when you get there,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of pretty cool.
I think that plays in. I think that also plays into the point what I was making, where maybe they do come through more because we do develop that relationship with them, and they're more comfortable, coming through and talking to you, and they're looking forward to it. Um, he got
Like
quiet there for
knowing
a
that
little.
was your car.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
like
They knew it was his car as soon as he got off that car and walked and got out, shut the door. He heard. I think on the recording you made, I heard him take like 3 or 4 steps, and the thank you came
yeah.
clear as crystal clear. And yeah, so it's like he saw that car pulling up. He's like, "Hey, there's Shawn and Sam. Oh, cool, they're bringing my toy." So
It's my train. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he specifically told us blue train
Yeah.
or baseball or suckers. So we've taken blow pops over there and just stuck them in the ground.
Oh
You
my
know,
gosh.
ice cream. I've had ice cream. I've had him say ice cream and trains and baseball and suckers and stuff like it. I said, well, just let me know what you want me to bring, but I can't bring anything too expensive. I'm not going to bring you know, a, some, a
No
car,
bites.
full size car, or a bicycle or something.
Yeah.
I can't do that. But he got quiet for a little bit, but then he seems like he started showing up again.
What had
Um,
happened when he started getting quiet?
um, to be honest with you, that's about the time that I began falling out of love with the paranormal. I got burnt out, and I started letting, like what I was saying earlier. I started letting the drama and the stuff in the field affect me, where I started engaging in a lot of uh, the bickering and the fighting on social media. Um, and it seemed like that's about the time it happened. And it's like, it made me think like, man, maybe maybe he picked up on that. Maybe that energy shift, just like they did not want to be around me, you know. And it
Yes.
bothered me. It really did bother me. It's not what it kind of it's part of why I decided to put my foot down and um, get get that fire back, because I knew that this is who I was. This is where this is what made me fall in love with the paranormal, was that communication. And when I lost it, man, it was like it hurt. It hurt. It really did. It bothered me, and I uh, I had to get a grip on it. I had people in my ear talking to me and telling me, "Man, you can't let that stuff get to you, man. I saw you when you came up in this field, man. I saw this fire, yeah." And I said, "Yeah, I did it. I got back, I got that fire back. Yeah, it feels good. It feels really good. You know,
Well,
I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. Sorry, but
it's okay.
um,
It's an emotional thing. I mean,
yeah,
because it's I think it's such a sacred
yeah,
communication that they give us because they're dead. They don't have to
yeah.
be here. I don't
No,
think they have to be here.
yeah,
I think that for some, I don't know why people don't cross. I believe it's because a lot of times, I think they're afraid of what's coming. Maybe they didn't anticipate, yeah, they didn't feel like they had time to get things right or whatever.
yeah,
I don't know. And certainly with children, I think they're confused. They don't understand why things are different.
yeah,
But children also are the most adaptable of us. And so I feel like that's why they can be places.
yeah,
Um, they're certainly the most adaptable of us in the living phase. So, um, don't you think? I mean, children are amazingly resilient.
yeah. And it. I would be lying if I said that that I never thought about the idea of like, man, is me going out and doing these investigations preventing these this child or these spirits from crossing over, because they're so um how that they have became their communication with me has, they enjoy it so much and I enjoy it so much that it became like something they long for, and it's preventing them from crossing over. I've thought about that before. Am I the reason why they're not crossing over? Because they enjoy the conversation so much. Not necessarily just me, but anybody. Um, but I don't. And I guess when it comes to kids, and they say that kids are really sensitive to the paranormal, and look, just flip it on the other side. Maybe the kids are, that's why people hear so many kids stories, because maybe on the other side, it's just the same thing. They can pick us up better as well as speaking to them. You know?
Well, sometimes I think we're the entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean,
We could, we,
really,
we
I
could be
do.
we could be a bunch
Because,
of clowns sometime. We could be clowns sometime. That's for sure.
yes. And, we don't know. I mean, we don't even know who we're really talking to.
No, we don't. We
And,
really don't.
so that's why a lot of people are so like wiggy about doing this. But I do feel like you can build a rapport. There's nothing negative coming from that.
Yeah. Yep.
And, you know, I do think that the down team is really good at deception, but I also think that there are tells with that.
Yeah.
I do think there's a dark side to this, but
And we
I
got we
don't
got
seek it.
we have to take that risk. I think
Yeah.
it's
Well, I mean, there's a yin and a yang. There's that with everything that we do in life.
everything. Absolutely.
And, I had experiences that I had to go find somebody to help me with? I have. I mean, I I got an attachment from somebody that didn't know how to do Reiki, but were doing it anyway. And instead of slinging to the ground, they just went, and I got hit on my elbow. Seriously, something hit my elbow. It felt like a prickly pear. And I was like,
Wow.
what the? what the heck was that?
Yeah.
And I turned around and he had just gone down again and was getting ready. I said, do not sling that out. You throw that to the ground. You do not just boo, boo, boo. And he was just like, well, but I was like, no, take a class. I mean, seriously, take a class before you do Reiki on somebody. Know what to do with that energy you're taking off of them.
Yeah.
But it was, oh my gosh. Do you know how long it took me to heal my aura from that? It was terrible. It took me about 2 weeks of salt soaks.
Wow.
And a friend of mine was like, can I look at you? I was like, yes, please do look at me. And she was like, I've never seen anybody heal that fast. I said, I was determined.
Yeah.
Because I don't like having my protection broken. And that was wiggy.
Yeah.
I did not know that would really happen. I have been trained that this is how you do this, but I had never known of that to happen. So that was my learning experience too. It was just like, oh my God, what are you doing? So yeah.
I've been
So you do have to watch out, and you have to know who the heck you're investigating with.
Yeah.
Not everybody
energy
takes
and
it
connection,
seriously.
everything.
Yeah. So anyway, I digress. But protect your aura. Always protect your own freaking aura.
You have to.
And don't be around idiots.
And that's why that story that what I was mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
I was going down that path where I was just losing that passion, and I was getting myself involved in things that I shouldn't be getting myself involved in, that I had no reason to be involved in. And it was zapping everything that I had that created that love for the paranormal, and I lost it. And that's when, you know, I took some time off, and I came back. It happened again. Took some time off, and finally I came back again. And this is when I told myself, nope, that's it. I'm not doing it again. I am not. I haven't been doing this for 7 years just to like let this happen. No, I'm getting that fire back, and I did.
Was
I
it
started
specific individuals or just situations that were occurring, or what drove you
just
away?
um a lot of the fraud, a lot of the it was a little bit of everything. I think just it started it started mostly with when I started confronting a lot of the fake YouTuber paranormal videos, the teams that I knew were faking, and they were misleading people and making money off of them. And I was confronting them and um, you know calling them out, on social media and all that stuff like that. And um, they, I would get ganged up on by a lot of people, and then by the end of it, they were like, "Damn, you were right. They are, and I'm just like, I told you guys, but you guys, the only thing you do is gang up on me, call me jealous, and call me a
Oh, that
hater
drives me crazy when people call you jealous because,
and they call me this and
nobody,
that,
nobody's an expert.
you know.
This is not a real science. It's becoming one because of all the work that people have put into it over the years. It's finally becoming something that people study, but mainstream.
Yeah.
But when I'm jealous because you've got something that you can't technically prove, and I have stuff that I can't technically prove either, but that doesn't make one of us better than the other one because we're both doing the work. I don't deal well with that either. I actually had a guy that does a paranormal event company get pissed off at me. And it was only, he got mad because I was on a show
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted to know if I had any footage of me investigating. Well, I don't because I'm always the one with the camera.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy had done a sizzle reel that he invited me to participate at the location with. And so I thought the work was so good that I just told the production company, you can reach out to him. I don't know what he's going to say about that because
Mhm.
we don't really talk anymore, but it's really good footage. Hey, Keith. So it was really funny because, oh my goodness, Facebook blew up just on his page. I mean,
Mhm.
he was the only one ranting. And I'm like, that's okay. The only reason I even suggested that was because it was such good footage.
Yeah,
We all looked good in that, but I would only have used that clip.
yeah,
And he was like, oh, well, you just use and abuse and you show up for free. I said, because you invite me.
yeah,
Hello. You know,
yeah.
you got,
So,
it was just stupid because, I really liked investigating with them.
yeah,
And I really liked that person, but he was just, he was the flip side of, and it's so funny when they turn so fast because you're like, oh, that's who you were the whole time, right?
yeah,
How did you get that
yeah.
past me? I'm really astute when it comes to that. But it happens. It
I had
does.
people.
I'm glad you fought your way back.
Yeah, I've had I had people in my ear, and I'm not afraid to give them props. I'm not, my buddy Austin Maynard. Um, he's a he's a he's a developer, develops devices out of Ohio. He was one that always told me, Phil, don't worry about that stuff, man. Just focus on what made you fall in love with what you're doing. And
Exactly.
I would hear it, and I would like let it, I would make it work for a little bit, then it would just fall the wayside. I'd be back to doing the same thing. And so finally, you know, uh, you know, I'd go back and listen to a lot of the things, a lot of the things that he told me, and I, he's one of the ones that would tell me, just keep, just man, just focus on you, man. Just don't worry about these guys. Regardless, they're going to do what they're going to do it regardless. Just focus on what you, um, which what made you fall in love with this, and that's what I did. And I started, and it worked. It really worked. I got to give credit to Austin, and he's been a mentor, and then Brandon Alvis, he's been just a man.
Yes.
He's been an amazing. He's become a really really good friend of mine. We talk a lot, and we've been talking since he first joined. Since he first got on the Ghost Hunter show. Back years ago. We've
Yeah.
been talking since then, and he's been such a great uh, mentor as well to me, and just bouncing ideas off of him and stuff like that. And, yeah, he's became a really good friend of mine. Him
Yeah.
and Austin has just been great, and helping me uh, keep me, helping me stay in line. I guess you can say. Um, but I'm doing really good right now. I feel more on fire than I have in the past probably couple of years, and
Well,
I
I'm going to
have
tell you that
no,
you are on fire.
yeah,
I mean,
I have
you
no
love
intention.
this stuff,
I love it, absolutely love it.
and I recognize that.
Yeah,
That's um that's what makes us keep doing it. And
yeah,
Keith Ottersberg, who is very wise, says other people's issue with us is their issue, not ours.
I totally
And
agree with
I had a friend who, when I was being attacked by this person, just said, everybody knows who's got the high road in this. You just do you.
you.
And that was the biggest compliment I think I've gotten in this field. And I've had people tell me things before, but that one, everybody knows who you are. You just be you,
Yeah,
because everybody knows who that is too, because he's showing us right now.
yeah,
And that was huge. Probably just like for you.
yeah, yeah.
Just
It was
stay
huge.
in your lane.
And
Right?
the thing is, I've really had, I've been very fortunate not to have anybody come at me directly. So I've been really fortunate about that.
It's a trip.
I haven't been attacked too much.
That's
I
the
don't
only
want to be.
time.
I don't want to be.
Nobody's ever done that before.
And I don't. Yeah, I've been very fortunate with that. That I haven't been actually the victim of a attack. I've been called, like I said, I've been called a hater, and I was called jealous, and stuff like that because I was calling out these people. You know, but there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, why and I'm not going to look back on this now and say it, but why would I worry about what these people are doing when I do, when they have no bearing, like just like he said, that's their problem, not ours. Why would I worry about them? Why would I let what they do affect, like they can do whatever they want. I mean, yeah, why they
Well,
are
and they can be whoever they want.
yeah, maybe they are putting a black, giving a black eye to the paranormal, but with some of their stuff, with some of the way they act. But I can, it doesn't like destroy the field. It's not like they're the be all end all of what's going on. You have your own path to take. You know,
Yes, we all do.
and yeah, and just like Austin told me, he said, we don't all need to be innovators. We don't all need to be, developers. We don't all need to be content creators. We need to just focus on what, like I said, 10 times already, we need to focus on what, you know, we did to make us fall in love with this. Been the best words I've heard, you know, in the last couple of years, when it comes to like me getting myself back on track again. And so I think that's what it all comes down to is just do your thing, man. Just do your thing and, you know, continue to do your thing and do what it takes to, to keep that passion level and keep that enthusiasm, you know, up, while, you know, being, with the utmost dignity and respect of the field itself. So I think it's what we got to do.
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, you're who has to live with you.
Yep. Yep.
And I think as long as we can do that, then we have a pretty good time and a pretty good life.
Yeah.
And through, you had Austin in your ear.
Yeah.
And because I was floored when this came at me. I was just like, and it was just one person, right? And the people that knew me were like, why is that happening? I said, because he didn't get on a show with that footage, I guess. And he was angry. And then when I asked for it, it was just adding insult to that injury.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't even ask for it. The producers did. But it would have featured him too. So it would have been good for him too. But that anger that he thought I was going to be getting one over on him or something. I don't know what the things, but he cut his nose off to spite his face because he looked really good in that footage too. The whole group did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just me. But it's Keith said ego and jealousy. Well, it was, but that happens. And you just have to, I wouldn't spit on him if he were on fire, but I might call somebody too. So
Yeah.
not really. I wouldn't let somebody suffer. But even somebody that was that mean. So enough about mean. You brought toys.
Yeah.
You brought goodies.
Yeah, I brought goodies in the form of
Yeah.
audio files.
And now these are numbered. And we're going to go with number 1 first. We're going to go follow your lead. Do you want to set it up?
Yeah, yeah. Number one, yeah, I went straight for the jugular on this one because it to this day it's the most insane piece of audio that I ever captured or my team has ever captured. Now what happened was I'll make it quick though because we
You don't
were
have
at
to make it quick. It's okay.
okay we were at Randolph County Asylum the night
Oh,
before.
yeah.
And we did an investigation here. So we left straight from Randolph and went straight to the Monroe house where this EVP was captured. We got there about 10:30 or so, and we got there. It was just me and my teammate Shawn. Lisa, our other teammate, she had to work later on that night, so she didn't stick around. So me and Shawn went straight from Randolph to the Monroe house, and we were going to spend the night at the Monroe house. And so we got there, parked, came inside, and just kind of sat in the living room, just kind of hung out a little bit, just kind of just resting a little bit. We were up all night. So we sat there for maybe an hour, and I said, all right, Sean, I'll go and start bringing my stuff in. He said, okay. So we start carrying the boxes in. When you walk in the front door, there's this big table right in front of you with a big TV above. So we, a big enough table you can put your boxes in and open the box and get all your equipment out. So Sean was sitting in the chair by the window, and I was sitting there getting stuff out of the boxes, taking stuff out. And to the right, if I look to my right, there's a kitchen with the door was open. There's a kitchen with a door across on the other side of the kitchen. And so I'm sitting there taking stuff out. Next thing you know, I heard this. Whatever it was, it something grabbed the doorknob and it sounded like it was about to shake the doorknob off the hinges, like shake the whole door off.
Oh,
Literally, like,
wow.
and I just stopped, froze. I'm like, I looked at Sean. I'm like, man, you hearing this, dude? And he's like, yeah, yeah, man. So the investigator and me, I grabbed my recorder and I zoomed right into the kitchen. Didn't catch anything on that recorder. So I'm like, okay, I reviewed it and I said, I didn't catch anything. So we were still getting stuff out of the box, and I said, all right, Sean, I'm gonna go and take these cameras upstairs and start setting them up. Sean said, okay, I'm gonna put my recorder over by the door, over by that door that was shaking, just if maybe we can catch something else up there. So we put the recorder down, and we went upstairs and did our thing. About 20 minutes after he pushed record is when we caught this EVP. So it was just me and him in the house, no baby monitors in the house, in the middle of the house, in the middle of the kitchen,
All
and
right.
we captured this audio, which is still just that today. It's the most insane piece of audio we've ever captured. It's at the Monroe House in Hartford City, Indiana. But this is on repeat, so it's just
Jiminy Crickets. Oh my gosh. That is so awesome.
Yeah, it's a full fledged baby. He sent me that he said, man, I think I caught a baby on EVP. I was like, what, a baby, really? He said, yeah, you need to check this out. So I said, go ahead. I'm taking my dog out. Go ahead and send it to me. I'll listen to it when I get home. And I heard it. My jaw hit the ground. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I sent the audio to the owner of the house, Pam and Eddie Morris from, they owned the house. And she said, I'm going to tell you right now, Eddie is not going to want to come in this house by himself after hearing this. Um, and I can say this now because, I mean, obviously it's in the public. Um, she sent me some information either that night or so it's been almost 4 years ago. So she sent me some information later on that evening and said, I don't want you putting this on social media because the mother of this the mother of this baby is still alive and living in Hartford City. So she sent me it was an obituary of a baby that died at 2 months old in that house 20 years to the day that I caught that EVP.
Oh,
Now,
good heavens.
now was it the same baby? I can't guarantee. I don't
Oh,
know. I
come
can't.
on. We
I would
we have a
be
fair idea.
yeah. I would be completely honest. But oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely that same child. But it's kind of strange that it was 20 years to the day that and she got really freaked out because when paranormal lockdown came to the Monroe house and did an episode there, it's Katrina and Nick Groff.
Mhm.
They labeled it the demon house, and it freaked the mother out because she said, I know my baby's still in that house because I heard him crying, I heard him fussing in that house after he passed away. And
Oh
that's
my
what all made
gosh.
me think, man, was that the baby I captured? Was it? Could it be? You know?
Who else's
So
baby is that going to be?
I don't know. I don't know. And it's babies have been captured crying before in that house before through, good friend Michael Diddy, who investigated that house hundreds of times. So he's heard the baby crying in the house too. So, and it's the actual this piece of audio is going to be on the new Evil on Earth. Monroe House documentary that's coming out about Matt Benton's documentary with Joe Vitale and stuff like that. That EVP is actually going to be um, in that documentary coming up. So
Well, that's good because it should. That's a great EVP.
insane. Like I said, it's the craziest piece of audio ever captured that we've ever captured before, probably ever heard. I mean, it's very chilling, to
Well,
say
it
the least.
is. I mean, I'm glad you brought that. I
Yeah,
hate why it's there.
that's yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but I do appreciate that you brought it because it's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. It was pretty remarkable. Yeah.
Well, do you want to set up number two?
Yes. Number two is I got it written down here. So, oh yeah, this is a good one. Okay, yeah, this one occurred at the old. Uh, it happened in the bullpen at the old Kosciuszko County Jail in Warsaw, Indiana. It was in 2018 during the we did a world's largest ghost hunt event there. And what they would do is during this event is they would give you a set of questions to go by, and each person participating or each group that all over the United States and the world would have that set of questions, and they would all ask these set of questions at this time, and then for 2 hours. And then the last 2 hours was pretty much a free for all, where you could just pretty much conduct your own investigation. And this occurred during that free for all investigation. Um, at the jail, the ones that used to do the investigations, well, they still do. Mary Ann does, but her and Evelyn, her sister, they do the host the investigations at the jail, and did all the history of the jail. So they brought this picture of a guy named Judd, which is Annie Chaplin is one of the house, just supposed to be one of the house spirits at the jail for and I'll get to why she's, why her ghost or spirit is still there. But she brought a picture of Judd, which is Annie's brother, and you'll hear in this clip, Mary or Evelyn asking, Annie, how old were you when Judd left home? And then you'll hear a response, and then Shawn actually heard it with his own ears.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a disembodied voice, and it was the correct number. Like I had my recorder going, there's like three recorders going. I checked all three recorders and nothing was heard except on his recorder. And he was standing right in the doorway and heard the response, which was the correct response because Marianne and Evelyn knew how old Annie was when Judd left home. And the one that whispered and came through was who we think is probably, uh, was Annie whispering in Sean's ear, and Sean heard it with his own ears and actually captured it on his recorder.
Awesome.
The number seven, which was how old she was when Judd left home.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
so you'll be
that's
able
number
to hear that.
two.
That's number two.
You were a very young girl when you last saw him. Can you tell me how old you were when Judd left home? Did we disturb you with this picture? I'm sorry if it does bother you. Did you know that Judd had gotten into some trouble?
What's it 7?
She said she was 7 years old.
That's what I heard.
Note that down, please, on the recording. Shawn just heard 7. Annie was 7 when Judd left home.
Amazing.
Annie, thank you. I'm assuming you answered that. Thank you very much.
That was it. That's she responded with the number 7.
Well, it was so cool because I thought I heard it early in that club.
Yeah, she did. There was something. Yeah, there was something in there right before she said 7 as well. And I just said it said came through or something like that. It was hard to really hear what it what it
Yeah,
was, but the 7 was. I mean, that was a no brainer. I mean, that was a no doubter right there. Yeah,
that's really cool.
yeah,
So, was he surprised that he got it?
yeah, yeah. Because he was like how old was she? Because I just heard the number 7. Because he said he heard it in his ear. He heard like 7 in his right ear. He said. And luckily he picked it up on his recorder. We didn't catch anything because I listened at the same time on my recorder. I was also across the bullpen from him, so a good 15 feet, 20 feet away from him. So my recorder didn't catch him. But his wife was sitting about maybe 6 feet from him, and she didn't catch it on her recorder either. The only recorder it was on was his. He was standing in the doorway with his back toward the entrance of the
So,
bullpen.
the child was probably standing behind him.
Yeah, the girl was standing. Whoever it was, Annie,
Yes.
said 7. Yeah, because
That is
Annie.
so cool.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, she's a resident of the jail because of what happened to her at the jail. So it was a interesting story, and that will actually, let me see, yeah, lead us kind of in. I'll kind of lead us into the story of Annie with this next EVP. But
Okay.
so on this third EVP, um, what happened was the story is Annie. She was 21 years old. She was the daughter of a man named Morse Chaplin, who was a very pronounced, well-known, wealthy man in the city of Warsaw. And Annie got tied up with this singer, um, this singer sewing machine salesman from South Bend named Gwen Smith, and he was a little bit older than she was. So he, was, me and Andy was younger. He was a little bit older. He was able to talk her into stuff and blah blah blah. He talked her into like actually forging a check for $250 and trying to cash it at the bank. Well, when they got to the bank with the check, they busted them and pretty much arrested the both of them and put them in the jail. Um, Gwen bailed out. Annie actually was told by her, her dad met with the sheriffs and told the sheriffs, I would like you to keep her here for a little bit, because I don't want her out around Gwen because, it doesn't have the best reputation, I'm assuming. So her dad wanted her to stay in there and, to help out, cooking and, for the inmates and stuff like that, and, helping out with the ladies in the sheriff's residence. So she stayed there for a little bit. There's conflicting um, stories. One of the stories was that Annie was taking a walk out to the washroom outside, and Gwen hopped the fence, uh, shot her twice, and then turned the gun on himself. Which that is true. That did happen. But whether he hopped the fence or he was allowed to come in and visit her, that's the conflicting story. But yeah, he did pull the gun, shoot Annie twice because he was so upset because uh, she did she acted like she didn't want to see him. So and she didn't she wasn't out of jail. So he shot and killed her and he killed himself. So that's why we think that Annie is actually still at the jail because I've actually heard her voice of who we think is Annie at the jail before, and many others have actually heard her as well.
Wow.
So that's the story of Annie. And Gwen is actually buried here in the same town that I live in Elkhart. He's buried in a cemetery called Rice Cemetery. So,
Interesting.
but this EVP right here is this was during the world's largest ghost hunt, the same event that the other EVP was on. Um, Typical set of questions. there was a group of boys from Warsaw High School that actually did a tour of the jail. 'Cause they do, they do tours and stuff.
Right.
You can come through and walk around. You pay $5 or whatever to do a tour. So one of the boys, one of the guys, the guys came in there. So they told him the story about Annie. And he, according to what Marianne and Evelyn said, that this kid, said, Annie, hey, why don't you go to prom with me? I'll take you to prom sometime. So we brought this up during one of the questions of the world's largest ghost hunt, along with Judd's picture that was still sitting out there, as we heard in the previous clip, that Judd's picture was one of the triggering mechanisms that we used during this evening. So you will hear, I think it's Marianne talking and trying to speak to Annie and telling her, about the guy taking her to prom. And you will hear a response from a man with a slight southern drawl, which would have been, probably he would have had that accent because he was from southern Indiana. And you will hear from what I hear it is a voice of a man that says, "My sister's found the one." And where I'm getting this at is, sister found the one, is what I'm thinking is when he asked to go to prom with Annie, maybe he thought that his sister finally found the one and she went home with him. I mean, and that was Judd saying, "My sister found the one." And it was clear as day, male talking. You could tell who, no doubt about it. Very clear VP.
Well, I'm ready.
All right, it's a short clip too, so.
Prom. If you know what a prom is. The school dance?
Yeah.
Remember the one guy asked you to the prom?
Yeah.
If you know what a prom is. The school dance?
It's pretty clear.
It's clear.
That is fun.
No men. There was two men there, myself and Shawn. Obviously, why would we be talking about anybody about sisters? My sister found the one.
Yeah.
We're experienced enough to where we stay quiet during those EVP sessions. We know better. Only two men in the whole building, which were me and him, and that EVP came up. That was captured on my recorder. Yeah. So.
Oh, wow.
My phone. Yeah, that was my recorder. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
What else is next? This is, but seriously, I love other people's evidence. I love my own. Don't get me wrong. I love what I get, but I love when other people share too. Because most people are just like, "Oh, this is mine. You can't listen to this." Well, no, show me.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like why hoard the evidence? It's like I want to share it with people. I want to share my findings, and
I know that's why we do
take
it.
that adventure with me and share the experience.
It's why we do it.
That's why we do it.
It's to get answers and to get evidence so that we understand, hopefully, what's happening around us.
Yep. That's the way it is. That's the way it is.
So what's the next one?
Okay, the next one. This is a good one too. This took place at a location in Hartford City called the Griffin Blind Tiger, also known as the Centerfield Bar in Hartford City. And this would have been the first. I think it was our first time we visited. Yeah, it was our first investigation. No, first or second investigation there. Anyway, it was just me and Shawn. Again, nobody else was in the building. We were actually doing an experiment with our friend Brandy. She used to be a bartender at that bar, and she had a lot of regulars, and she had pictures of a lot of her regulars. Just from taking pictures. Hey. And she knew exactly where these regulars would sit in each of their seats throughout the bar. So we took the pictures and we put them, around the bar at each of the seats, of the pictures she had. of the, we placed them in the seats where they would have sat. So, and what we did is I had Brandy on Facebook Live, and she was telling us a story about that there was a guy, I can't remember his name. I don't think the name was mentioned in the clip, but there was a guy that used to come into the bar. He ended up buying a cat ended up buying a calf, and he named it Brandy. Okay, and Brandy, the calf, the calf named Brandy got pregnant. So being a small town, the rumor got around that Brandy was pregnant. So her dad was like, "When are you going to tell me?" And she's like, "You'll hear the story, She's like, yeah, I'll tell you what." She said, "If you're pregnant," he said, "I'm not pregnant." And then they confronted the guy about it. He just kind of laughed about it. It's like, oh, did that little laugh and but yeah, you'll hear the story, and then right at the end, you will hear a man's voice saying, haha, her father was just kind of laughing. That's, I mean, Sean was sitting at the bar. I had my my phone in one hand doing the Facebook Live. I had my recorder in the other hand. Sean's at the bar doing his recording. And you, when I went through the audio from the Facebook Live, you could barely hear it. I mean, it was very, very faint. The recorder in my hand is the one that you heard, like it was loud. And Sean said, "Man, I didn't hear anything. I'm sitting there listening, and I didn't hear anybody talking. I didn't hear nothing talk. Nobody was saying a word. It was quiet as a quiet. There was nobody else in the bar except me and Sean. Nobody was talking on Facebook Live. It was completely silent. But you'll hear a man come across at the end of the recording saying, haha, her father was just kind of laughing." And there's also a follow up to this story that will probably floor you once we're finished listening to the clip. I have another part of the story that will probably just like make you go, wow. And
Okay.
it's verification too. So
He also got my dad thinking that I was pregnant because he had bought a heifer, a bull,
or
Yeah.
heifer,
and he
yeah.
named the heifer Brandy, and he named the bull his name. And he went around telling everybody that Brandy was pregnant, but he forgot to mention it was his heifer. So by the time he got back to everybody, it's a small town,
Uh-huh.
my dad came to the bar and said, "What the hell are you going to tell me?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said that you're pregnant. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not." And he came in the bar. I said, "Did you say that?" He started laughing. He goes, "Yeah."
So did you hear that story, sir? It's a long story. I can't repeat it. It's a long story. So if you heard that, I heard something about a heifer and Brandy, saying that Brandy was pregnant. Brandy, her dad thought Brandy was pregnant, and you were laughing about it. You thought it was funny. So, sir, can you tell us your name? We'd like to know your name.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That was so freaking clear.
Clear as day. And I mean, it
And a
was
full
silent.
sentence.
It was a full sentence, full vocal tone, full sentence, clear as
Yes.
day. Um, and I sent that to Brandy and I said, "I want you to hear something. I want you to tell me if you recognize this voice." And I sent it to her. He said, uh, "Do you mind if I send this to somebody? I promise I won't post it on social media. I'll send it to her account so she listens to it." I was like, "Yeah, that's fine, no problem." She said, "Okay, I'll send it to her." Brandy knew exactly who it was, and she just wanted verification from this person. She said, "Listen to this and tell me who this is." And the lady starts crying. She said, "That's my dad. That's my dad. That's his voice." She said, "That's exactly who I thought it was, and that's exactly who would have been sitting in that seat." Was
Wow.
the picture? Yeah. Haha. Your father was just kind of laughing. Yeah. Yeah. That's That's it. I'm like, wow, that is like. And she said, did you catch it on anything else? I said, no. I said, um, I checked the Facebook Live audio. You heard it just very, very faintly. It was very quiet. I think I might have heard it. It might have been very quiet, but it wasn't anywhere near as vocal as that recorder by the bar.
Wow.
And Sean said, I said, did you hear anything? He said, man, I didn't hear anything. He said, it was silent in there.
Wow.
So, yes, and it was just me and him. Me and him were the only people in the bar. So there was nobody else in the whole bar. It was very early in the morning too. So, but that was a very cool
That's
EVP. Yeah.
that is very cool.
Yeah.
All of these are very cool.
Yeah, I picked some of the best ones we've had. I got a few I left off the list. I didn't know if we'd have time or not, but maybe that'll be for another show or something.
We can do another show. We'll do that.
Okay. Okay.
But you have to bring all of them.
Okay. Okay.
Or at least enough for, to have this much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I love this stuff. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm a geek. I love this stuff.
Yeah, me too.
What's your next one?
So the next one, number 5. Now this happened. This is where the children of the jail began. We were there for an overnight at the old Kosciuszko County Jail. Shawn went upstairs to do an EVP session, and you will hear him talking about. I think this is one about playing with the ball. He had a ball on the floor, or something like that, where you roll the ball or something like that, playing on the floor. Now this is in the same spot that we've always captured this kid, and this obviously this one is amplified. I try to amplify these clips that way. I do have the originals too, so if anybody wants to reach out and listen to the originals, I got those copies too. But Sean was sitting there saying, "Hey, will you roll the ball, to me or something like that?" I can't remember exactly what he said. And you will hear a kid, and it was loud already, like on the original clip. It was like the kid was standing right there, saying, "I will." Clear as day, loud. Sean, I said, Sean, did you? I mean, he said, no, it wasn't a disembodied voice. I didn't hear anything. So it
Wow.
was definitely an EVP. Yeah. So yeah, he says, I will in response to about. I think it's the one where he says he's rolling the ball. I think. So I might be wrong. It might be the other one, but we'll see.
Okay.
At least rolling a ball back to me.
Get out. Kid ones always get me.
Yeah. No, that voice is. I've heard that voice many times up in that jail, up in that sheriff's residence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the kid that I think has been following us around everywhere. That's him, Eddie, as we call him. Yeah.
That is so precious.
Yeah.
I mean, because
It's
that is a precious little voice.
Yeah. I will. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sean said he didn't hear anything. He said it wasn't a disembodied voice because I would have mentioned it. He said I
Yeah.
didn't hear anything. So
Uh-huh.
and the next one is that kid again, same day. Actually, it's the same session. He was still upstairs doing his thing. And I can't remember what he said, the question that Sean asked, but you hear it, same kid go, uh-huh, like, uh-huh. Once again, extremely, and the thing is, Sean didn't like go home and send it to me. Sean came straight downstairs to say, hey man, did you get any, he started listening to his audio downstairs. He said, oh my gosh, dude, listen to this, man. And so I put it on my computer and listened to it. So it was literally, that's straight from coming downstairs to the library downstairs in the jail and went right on the computer. I'm listening. So I didn't have time. I mean, it was literally a fresh audio clip.
That
So
is so cool.
yeah, so this is the same kid during the same session saying I will or uh-huh in response to one of Sean's questions. I can't remember off the top of my head what he asked though, but it's a really quick clip though, so it won't take long. Yeah.
Oh, it
So
can take
yeah.
long. It's okay.
Okay, yeah.
What do you think that's saying?
To me, it's not like he says. It's not like he's saying but I mean, I don't know. It
I
might.
thought it sounded like "come on." Would work too.
Let's hear it again.
I thought I heard a sharp at the beginning.
Let's- or I'm not.
Could be that too. That is so cool.
Yeah,
That
he was
is
very vocal.
He was so vocal
Yeah,
and so
he's like that a
clear.
lot. Yeah, he's like that a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, whether it's disembodied voices or EVPs, he's very vocal when it comes to stuff like that. Yeah, he comes through a lot. This is very early on in our communication with him. Those two EVPs were very early on in our communication probably within the first year, like within the first few
Okay.
times we've communicated with them at the jail. This is very early on. Um,
What
um,
a cool gift he's giving you.
yeah, it's a gift. It's definitely I'm very honored to be able to hear that, that he takes the time to come through
Yes.
for us, And it seems like when me and Sean are together, it's more like he's more active. It's like the energy that me and Sean connection we give off is very comforting to him because he comes through. The EVPs that take place when me and him are together are much better than when we're both alone. Like if he goes there solo, or if I go there solo, he comes through, but they're not as pronounced or not as
Mhm.
vocal. But when we come together, it's just like it's like a perfect storm, and
That's cool.
I don't know, it's kind of strange. It's kind of cool. It's very cool actually. So yeah, so
I think so.
yeah. This next one, the kid is another same kid up in the same area, second floor. This is a disembodied voice though. This I captured this when I was by myself during a solo. Um, you'll hear, me sitting there, asking them to surround me and come near me and don't be afraid. And I was sitting right against the door jam and I got this like very quick dizzy spell. Like I literally had to go like brace myself on the doors. And I was like, okay, I just got dizzy. And I said, was that you doing that? Was that you that, made me dizzy? No, no, I'm not mad. It's fine. I said, and then you hear a kid come across saying, it hurts. It
Oh,
hurts. And I heard it with my own ears because I was listening to I had my Zoom recorder going and I heard it with my ears. I just heard a kid. Right. I mean, as soon as I heard it, I said, yeah, I heard it. I just heard a kid. I mean, that's how clear it was to my ear, is I knew right off the bat that it was a kid, and I didn't know what he said though until I reviewed it right then, and I heard what he said. He said it hurts. So I don't know if he was talking about him hurting me or if he was hurt. I don't know. I tried to ask, but I never got a response. So,
that's
but
an
yeah,
interesting comment then.
yeah, it hurts. Yeah. So it was a
Yeah.
disembodied. This is not. It's a disembodied voice. Yeah. Yeah.
But I just want to let everybody know that even if you're not a child, you're more than welcome to speak. Come through. You're welcome. Surround me. Gather around me. Come to my voice. I invite you to come over here and talk to me. I just got dizzy. Just got lightheaded there for a second. You can come over by me, but you can't do anything bad. Okay? Okay, I just cut a voice. Hi, child. How are you? I'm gonna mark this. Just cut a voice. I'm gonna go back and listen to it in just a second. It sounds just like a child. Are you over beside me, little child?
So
And I just want to let everybody know that
Yeah, it was the end of it, yeah.
even if you're not a child,
Yep. So that was him. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
him again. It didn't sound like the typical, the previous voices, but
No, but you could hear. I couldn't make it out,
yeah.
but you could
To me, it sounded
definitely
like it
hear
hurt.
it.
Yeah, to me, it sounded like it hurts. That's what it sounded like to me. But and it hurts. And I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know if he's talking about when if he made me dizzy and maybe it hurt me. I don't know. Or if
Or
maybe
maybe
he
he's
was hurting
showing
him.
you an injury.
Maybe he's showing. Yeah, and I did actually bring that up in the conversation afterward. Into the conversation, the EVP communication later, but I never received a response after that. I don't think I received anything after that either.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he zapped all of his energy and couldn't come through after that or what. But yeah, usually he doesn't come through that clear when we're by ourselves. Sometimes he does, but most of the time when me and Sean are together is when we usually catch the really good ones. Yeah, with him.
Well, probably your energy build is good.
Yeah, I think so too.
So
And
he's got a lot to use.
yeah, I'm not trying to. Yeah, I'm not trying to. I'm not patting myself on the back or anything, but I think you're right. I think that energy that.
Well, I mean, that's the theory that's what they use. And my experience is that I have to tell them if I'm okay with them using my energy or not.
Yeah, yeah.
Or because sometimes, like if I've been sick
Mhm.
and I'm out, then I'm like, okay, you're going to have to use the outlets or something else. You can't use my energy.
Mhm.
I'm recovering from something,
Yeah, yeah,
And they generally tend to do that. I mean,
yeah,
they don't want to hurt you. I
yeah.
don't go any place that I feel is negative. I'm feeling weak. So
Yeah, if I'm sick, I usually don't go out too much. I don't
yeah.
usually go on investigations too much if I'm not feeling good. For one, I don't, if I'm not feeling good, I don't want to go out and do anything anyway. But for that reason, we're more vulnerable
We
when
are.
we're ill. So, and if you're,
So,
protecting yourself might be a little more difficult.
so I think it's just so much fun when they trust us enough to give us something.
Yeah, I think the EVPs are one of the most intimate pieces of evidence because they take the time, like you said, they take the time and energy to speak to you, and who knows how long it might zap them down, how much energy it does take to come through, um, we don't know, but I just find that the EVP is a very intimate piece of audio, and that's
It's
or
a lot
intimate
of
piece.
trust
Yeah, yeah.
because they're
So
not going to give it to you as a rule unless their pet says, which I've had in residential cases or whatever. But if it's someplace that you frequent, then there's a
mhm,
relationship there.
yeah,
And I think that's really special and cool. And
yeah,
it is a gift.
yeah, and I think it's what I've been. I think it's definitely my calling in this field,
Yeah.
without a doubt. I don't have no
And
urge to do anything else other than. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, you should expand and do other things." I don't. I feel completely content doing what I'm doing, and that's
yeah.
I love it, and so and that's it feels good. It feels good what I'm doing, and I know
Well,
that's
and that's,
when I know it's right.
yeah.
I know that it's right when I feel good, when it feels good to me.
Well, and you're also providing something with them.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's really I feel like it's a kind of big deal.
yeah.
And,
I do too.
because I've caught shadow figures on film. I've caught EVPs. I've caught all this other stuff, but I like, I like EVP because the shadow was cool. I mean, because it was so clear,
Yeah,
but the EVPs are such a, like you said, it's very personal. It's very intimate. And unless they're like calling you the wicked, witch of the West or something similar, but that's happened before too. But I get called the B word a lot. I'm like, I'm a lovely person. You just don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
But I find that interesting because I know other people that happens to, and it's almost like it's always male. It's not always the same voice, obviously, because, but yeah. And I think that's weird.
I also think that it's probably a spirit from a long time ago, and women
Yeah.
were not regarded as were not treated as well, not regarded as good as they were now, as they are now. They were treated a little bit unfairly back in those days, and women were looked down upon.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty common thing to call them a B word, and
Well, and it's funny that after all this time, that's the word,
yeah.
right? Because it's like, didn't you have slurs in your era that would have been original?
Yeah, it's like we still use them
And the
today.
next time I'm live listening and get that's what I'm going to ask. I've already got it planned, but I'm going to be like, can you not be more original?
Yeah.
Really? That's all you've got? And see what happens. Because if they're going to be rude, I'll give it back. I'm not going to try to be in a tussle or anything because that's stupid. But, if you're insulting me, then is that it? I don't think I'll get in too much trouble with that one.
Nah, you'll be all right.
I'm not going to, I don't want to push, but because I have friends who have had things happen to them. And I don't want to go home with marks.
Yeah.
The energy vampire thing, that was bad enough.
Yeah.
I don't want something that I'm going to have to call, a priest somewhere for.
Yeah.
That's not my idea of a good time.
No,
But
and it could happen. That's for sure.
it does happen. And, there's groups of people that go out doing exorcisms who should never be doing that.
I agree.
And I'm like, just because you have a certificate on your wall did not come from the church.
Yeah.
It needs to say Roman Catholic Church, but not really. I know that there's probably other people that do it very well without that, but
yeah.
It's like
they watch something on TV and think they're pros, think they're like professionals, staging houses and doing all this different, Native American type.
Native American stuff can work. I've seen it work.
No, I'm saying it wouldn't. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It's just I think people think they can that they're experts at it, and they try to do these things just because they saw it on TV or something, and they end up making it worse than what it was.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. All Native American stuff. Well, absolutely.
Well, we had a case that I was participant on, and it was a family home, and we went in and we cleansed up. There was nothing indicative of anything demonic, nothing indicative of even a negative vibe in the house, but we saged, we cleansed, and we called it a day because there wasn't anything. We were there for hours. And like 2 weeks later, a group that's local to me showed up at that house and did an exorcism on their 6-year-old daughter.
Ooh, wow.
And when I found that out, I came undone. I mean, I was, hey, you don't do that to a child. And that's probably the most undiplomatic I've ever been in a paranormal situation. And I wasn't like that with the family, obviously, but I was like that with the group that went in there.
Yeah.
Because one of them I knew, and I knew that she was not what she professed to be. And boy, you don't do that with children. And that is what gets us a bad name.
Yeah.
That's why people look at us and go, oh, really?
Yeah.
No.
I've seen what you guys have did before. Why would I trust you?
So anyway, I don't know where this horse, came from that I'm sitting here on that's so high, but what's your next DVP?
Okay, what is the next one? Let me see. Let me get down the list real quick. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're fine. Okay, this took place in 2018 at a place called Eden Springs Park It's in Benton Harbor, Michigan. Um, there's a spot in the park called the Drunk Tank. It's also the ice house too. When it was a functioning park and a functioning it was a society, a group of people that like a colony used to live there, and they used it as a drunk tank slash ice house. They used to get ice from the lake. He used to or a pond down the hill. He used to bring it up, put the ice inside the ice house to keep
Oh,
it cold.
cool. Okay.
They also use it as a drunk tank when people got a little unruly. They'd lock them in there and sober them up. So once again, another kid came through, and it sounds just like the kid that we've
Get
talked
out.
to in the
Let's hear
past.
them.
This is the third place. So we asked him, since it's a drunk tank, me and Sean was, we were, there was some water in the tank, so we didn't go into the tanks. We kind of retch our recorders in, and tried to get our arms inside the tank. And there was two people standing behind us, maybe about 10 feet. You can kind of hear them talking very, quietly. Definitely can differentiate the voices. There was no kids there, obviously. Um, and I will make note of it in the clip. There's somebody back here talking. Just to make note of it. And then I said, "Hey, do you what kind of beer do you like? What kind of alcohol what's your favorite? What's your favorite drink?" And you hear a little kid say, "Beer," and then a woman, then you hear a whisper go, "Wine." So beer and wine.
Okay.
So there was two people there. So yeah, you'll hear it. Yeah.
What were you drinking?
It was
Liquor
Louise
or
back there
beer?
talking. This was a reference. She's still talking. Can you tell us what your favorite beer was? Or what your favorite beer is? What do you like to drink?
Oh my God. Great catch.
They said you tossed.
Yeah.
That's a great catch.
Yeah. 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 Little kid.
What
I don't know
number
if
was
the same. That was number 8. Yeah. So
Okay.
they have 2 more to go. They have 9 and 10. Yeah. But that was
That was
a
brilliant.
yeah. Yeah. So that was another kid that we captured. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's the same kid, but he sounds like the same
It
kid.
sounds like the same kid.
Yeah.
And
So I
then the
don't know.
lady,
Yeah. Wine. Yeah. Yeah.
I would be the wine.
Yeah.
So what's your next one?
Okay.
I don't want
Number
to miss
9.
any of them.
Yeah. This is number 9. Hold on. What is it? Okay. This is actually one I just captured the most recent investigation where I was at the old Kosciuszko jail. This is what I was talking about where I had my Zoom recorder and then my body camera,
Hmm.
and the body camera caught the voice much, much louder than that high-priced multi-directional VR recorder.
Yes.
Um, and I've never captured a kid in that area before. Um, this would have been right in between the solitary confinement and the women's block. There's a little section. They used to have like a little schoolhouse, like a one-room school, because at that particular jail, um, they would allow if the women that were actually incarcerated there, it just so the women would not be separated from their kids. They would actually allow the child to be there with them, and while they were incarcerated, if so they didn't separate the mother and the child. So it
That was
might not be
very forward thinking.
yeah. So it might not be too surprising that I caught a kid there because it's right next door
Yeah.
to where the women's where actually it's right next to the schoolhouse where the schoolroom would have been where they would taught the kids.
Okay.
So if they were old enough. So but yeah, you'll hear what sounds like to me on the original. This is the amplified clip. During the original clip, it's not as loud, but it sounds you can hear it better. But it sounds like he says "hug me," like "hug me," and so yeah, you'll hear that
Okay.
on this clip. It sounds like "hug me," but Warden, are you okay if I go into the ladies' cell over here, into the ladies' bullpen? If you're not okay with it, trigger this device I have in my hand. Walk up close to it. Or okay.
Oh, what is the bump?
Uh, like the bump between the voice.
Yes,
That's where I amplified it a little bit.
you did such a
Amplified the
good job.
Yeah, amplified. I ran a little bit of noise because what it does if you amplify it too much, it causes a lot of noise reduction or amplify. It causes a lot of static in the noise.
Mhm.
So the original clip had a lot of like white noise in it. So I kind of use a little bit of noise cancellation to kind of tone down that noise, but still bring the voice up. Not enough noise cancellation that destroyed the audio, but just enough to kind of make it more of a pleasurable, make it more pleasurable to listen to. Um,
That was a great catch.
yeah, yeah, that
I
was
mean,
yeah, yeah.
wow.
Yeah, you can hear. To me, it sounds. You can hear the "Hug Me" better on the original, the undoctored, the raw audio, but it's not as loud. But
Mhm.
you can hear the sounds better. You can hear "Hug Me." You can hear the
Yeah.
pronunciation better.
Well,
But you know, it's
I could understand it in that one too, though.
yeah, you can.
I mean, that's a great catch,
Yeah, once again, a kid in
especially
the jail.
knowing that they had children there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
It would
was
have
that
been
the
literally.
same little boy?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It's not the same. It's not the same place that I usually capture him at.
No, but
I usually could be. He could be following me out everywhere. I don't know. You know,
well,
I
you
don't
may
know
have a
if
friend
I
besides that
think I
four-legged one. Yeah,
I think I've heard him here before too in my home. So
that'd
I don't
be
want to say it.
interesting.
I don't want to say it to my girlfriend. So I don't want her to get freaked
Oh
out.
yeah, I can't use those words here.
Yeah.
So,
So, but
and
it's
I have
interesting that,
headphones, so
huh?
I'm okay.
Yeah. So it's interesting that yeah, it was captured in a area where there would have been kids there.
Mhm.
So it's not totally out of the realm, a possibility that you know, but the kid could have been a kid that followed me down there from the jail cell, from the sheriff's residence, the one I always talk to. I don't know. I don't know. It's just a
These are
speculation, but
great EVPs.
yeah, there's some there's like I said, there's a few I was like, oh man, I should have sent those to her. I should have sent that one too. I was like, oh well,
Well,
we'll
you're going
probably
to have to keep a record of what we've already done,
yeah.
so that we
I
can.
got a few more up my sleeve.
Because
Yeah,
I love evidence shows. I
yeah,
absolutely love evidence shows.
yeah. This one was
So
captured. This is my version. I just posted this to my actual profile, my main Facebook page yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. So it's a brand new EVP. That's what I captured when I was there on the 18th of January. So that's like my most recent investigation. So that's like a fresh new EVP that's never been heard until yesterday. So I was like, that's a good one
cool.
to that's a good
I
one to
think that's a
share.
great one. Was
Yeah,
that
it's
the
pretty
last
cool.
one?
No, there's one more.
Oh, okay. Well, we got a couple. We've got do it.
This was
Quick setup.
okay. This occurred. This is one of our very early. This is back in our very early days. This happened in 2017, I believe. This was at the place called the Bristol Opera House in Bristol, Indiana. Um, we we were on the stage in the auditorium. It was Samantha and an old teammate Terry, um, who both had recorders in their hands. They were sitting in chairs, and then over beside Terry we had a table sitting there. We had a REM pod sitting on the table and a recorder and a little Olympus recorder and a Care Bear, just a standard stuffed Care Bear, just sitting there trying to um, initiate a response. Being it was
Mhm.
we've heard the rumors of a child being heard and seen on the stage in that area of the stage. So you hear Sam and um, Terry talking about, you want me to move down closer, and you hear somebody walking across the stage and sit down. You hear this like, and it almost sounds like a squeaky toy, like, but then you hear like a little kid giggling, like like a little baby giggling,
Yeah.
and it's clear. Yeah, that was one of the very early EVPs that we've captured as a team. So yeah,
Okay.
it's very clear. You'll hear it. It's very clear and very vocal.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Would it help if I sat in that chair over there? We're not gonna hurt you. Sam shouldn't come over there.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. That was kind of strange too.
Yeah.
What's interesting was I I gathered the audio from Samantha's recorder. I gathered the audio from Terry's recorder and the audio from the recorder that was sitting on the table. The audio recorder that was sitting on the table and Terry's recorder was the same exact recorder. It was an Olympus BN something, a little small little recorder.
Mhm.
I still have the recorders right now, and then Samantha's was her phone. The one on the table by the bear was the only one that captured anything. The other recorders were completely silent, not even a smidget of EVP. And first thing I said when I caught the EVP, I'm like, okay, hey Sean, that bear, did it have like some kind of speaker in it, like a little, like a triggering thing that
Mhm.
had a speaker in it, or like did it talk? He's like, no. He said, I'll bring it over, show you. So he brought it over, and we're shaking it, squeezing it, and shaking it. And it was just a stuffed animal. There was nothing inside that bear that would have made any kind of noise. So the only thing was the bear, Grim Pod, and the recorder. Terry's recorder, Sam's recorder, and the only oh yeah, we also had the had a camcorder on it too, from across the stage, and the camcorder audio had nothing on it either. So
Wow.
the only recorder was the one right beside the bear. To me, it sounds like a little kid giggling. The second
Mhm.
one, like a little baby,
Yeah.
like a cooing baby, kind of like a
Yeah.
giggling baby. So
I mean, it's just you're very good at catching these. I'm impressed.
I mean, I run a lot of audio, so my odds are it increases my odds, you know. But
It does.
I think because I have such a love for it, I think it's I pour my passion into it, and I think the spirits see that, and it makes them comfortable knowing I'm there to hear it. You know, I told them anybody can probably do it. Anybody just
Patience
patience and you know
and
run a lot
review
of
your
audio,
evidence.
review your evidence. 'Cause I think there's a lot of people that don't. So
I'm
yeah,
guilty sometimes,
me
but when
too.
I started realizing what I had, I started going back. So,
Yeah,
and it's really a lot of fun. But we are out of time. We're
I
a
see that.
little bit
Three
we're
minutes
a little
over.
bit bumping on it,
4 minutes
but
over.
I just have to tell you that I have enjoyed this so much. We'll do it again, and you can bring some more.
I would love to come back
So
on if
I
you'd
would
have
love
me.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Tell people where to find you right quick.
Just I don't have really much social media other than my main Facebook page. Just look for Phil Gibson uh,
Yep.
on Facebook. I don't have Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube or anything like that. I do have an X account, but I usually just sports stuff.
Well, we will
Uh,
just do the find you on Facebook,
Find me
and
on
he
Facebook.
shares a lot there. You'll be able to enjoy him there and get to know him.
We didn't
And
get into the photography side of it, did we?
I know that's another day. We'll
We'll
do that
save it for.
again.
Maybe I have some more. Maybe I'll have some more projects done by then.
Oh, I'm fine with
if,
whatever.
if, it,
I
if it'll
love
ever
your
clear
work.
up. So
So thank you. And for
thanks,
everyone
Kat.
listening, thank y'all for being here too. I know y'all enjoyed Philip, and y'all come back. Next week, I have Tom McNicholas and Nick Muley. So that's going to be a fun show because Tom doesn't do many shows. I'm thrilled that he's coming on. And I always love having Nick around. He is a good friend. They both are. So we will see you then.
Thank you,
Hey,
guys.
April, you have a good night too. And we'll see you same cat time, same cat channel. Good night.